you need. You know I got it. All I'm asking is for a little respect. Just a little bit. Hey, baby. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Mister, just a little bit. I ain't gonna do you wrong. Why you down? I ain't gonna do you wrong. If I don't wanna. All I'm asking is for a little respect. Just a little bit. Baby. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Hi everybody, it's the dental assistant tutor here, and I thought I'd start off with some old school Aretha Franklin respect, because after being on vacation for a little bit and coming across some more um, people just upset about their careers, I feel like I need to be a voice for them, as you know. So I'm going to read a few that I've came across over the last time since I did a dental news blog. Um, so I've been in an office for over a year. Doc bought the office almost 2 years ago, and there was one assistant um, left, and boy, is she toxic. I have warned the doc I will exit myself from the situation before I expect him to do something with her. This assistant calls him names to his face, dictates treatment, and everything. I went to log into my computer today and she called it, and it had a password change. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. I walked out. She acts like she can do my job, she can have it. Thankfully, I owe a billing company that I can uh, get compensated for. Okay, that's great. Now, plus someone said, is posting about quitting your job the right thing to do in the middle of a day? Yes, if that's how she just feels, We all get to that breaking point where, it's not worth it. And unfortunately, it could be from one bad apple. And we need doctors to step up and start listening, not just care about your patients, but care about your staff. You are the leader of that practice. You are the one that has to step up and clean up the house if it's getting dirty. Just like there's parents, and they're the ones that should be in charge. But if you let the kid take over, then the house is unruly. That can happen within a dentist office, okay? Now, let's go to the next one. Good thing she had a backup plan. And those that don't have a backup plan, unfortunately, nowadays you have to have one, especially when bills are due. A lot of people stress out about their billing, so don't forget about the RX programs I have on my dental news site, where you can just sign up and be an affiliate and make extra money that way. Here we go. Had a bad start to this week. A patient threw his hot coffee all over my assistant, myself, in our office. Patient left the office and was arrested. I have been considering leaving this office for some time now, and I don't feel comfortable about going back. Is resigning the right thing to do? Okay, people are just asking for advice, because they're unsure. That's their job. All because of a misunderstanding of appointment scheduling. You have to make sure you confirm, and sometimes patients just don't hear it correctly. Um, I guess the doctor handled it by rewarding the patients. And it does go to where the patient's always right or the customer's always right. At least we need to stick with that. Except when there's violence. Then you need to step up for your staff. And the doctor did nothing for their staff that went through this trauma. And, I have carpal tunnel, so I've actually dropped a hot cup of coffee on me. My hand just gave out. And what do you call it? It didn't feel good. So, and it burns and it left like a mark for a little bit. So really the doctor should have did something. So doctors at any time, and because people are getting more angry nowadays, okay? There's a lot of anger going on. I went and visited my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, and it just seemed like there's a lot more stressed out people. Okay. I'm glad I'm in the country. But in the meantime, you have to know what to do in case a patient does come about and is very upset with you. How are you going to take care of it? You've got to have a plan A and a plan B. You have to have a plan for your staff too. What are you going to do for them? Have something in your office for like a backup, gift card, something to help them. You don't want to lose your staff over a ugly patient, okay? And remember, there are bad moments in a day, but not a bad day. You can take back your day. You can take back your joy, even when someone's robbing you of it. And if they're robbing you of your joy, you're letting them have control over you. All right, let's see here. Let me continue on. Said, listen, unlike you, I am focusing on doing my job. If you have a problem with my assigned duties, take it up with the doctor. That's who you should take it up with. And walk away. Do not listen or talk to her at all. You can be looking for another job in the meantime. Why do we have to job hop? Why do we have to switch jobs? Because there are bullies in the office. And yes, I said bullies because if you're picking on somebody, and you know if you are, you're just being a downright adult bully. I have seen that in these situations. One or two things happen. Either they end hanging themselves, which I've seen that too. But you don't want to let it go that far. You just don't. Talk to them, have communication, or they get fired, or they can come around and end up being your best friend. That's true too. I think we need more communication in our morning huddles and not just about the patient. Um, After I calm myself, I told her it makes my job hard and I feel like I'm not doing something right. You know, when you have that pressure, and I can understand what this girl's saying, when you have that pressure of, oh God, I'm not doing this right, I'm not doing this right, especially if you're new, give them a break. We all start off somewhere. Have you never made a mistake? But, like, you just got that pressure that people are looking at you, you're going to do it wrong. In my career, that's when I messed up the most. When people were standing there judging me, okay? Give people more of a break. But let me go further with this. Um, and I feel like I'm not doing something right because they seem upset with me when I go above and beyond. Okay, that should not be an issue within an office. If someone's going above and beyond, and I've had that before, where I had one lady corner me at an office and she was like, you know, Teresa, you can just slow down a little bit. You don't have to work that hard. Yeah, I do. That's the way I was, taught myself, brought up, however you want to call it. It's instilled in me. You bust your butt for your employer, and in return, they reward you in a good way. So we're losing that on both ends. We got to bring it back. So let me continue on. She called me a bitch. Well, her exact words were, I don't have time for this bitch today. Okay, so that's how we're talking in a practice. Okay, old school, feel like some things still work. Um, we need to clean up our mouths. We're getting too free with the language. Even on social media, unfortunately, we need to cut it back because you don't know who's going to be reading your social media. So I walked away and spoke again to the doctor and his wife. I've never been disrespectful to anyone there. I've always tried to just suck it up and try to make peace. But I feel like I'm at the end of my rope. I also requested tomorrow off to get my head together because I've been trying to deal with this for 6 months now, and it's getting worse. They won't let me take tomorrow off. I've cried so much today. So many people are crying working in a dentist's office. And, for all the new people out there, not every office is like this. But there are some bad apples out there, and that's why someone has to speak up. All right. As a single mom myself, I totally understand not being able to quit without already having another job. I suggest going to your medical doctor ASAP to be seen for stress related anxiety and depression. Whatever you feel comfortable saying, this way it will start a paper trail should you need to file for harassment or unsafe work environment. Okay, there's mental stress. So if you don't want to get your practice sued, for the stress that's being caused by one bad apple, I suggest you have a staff meeting or a one-on-one meeting, yearly with everybody or 6 months, whether you give them a raise or not, or maybe you give them a little bonus. That might save you money if you don't want to give a raise, then give them a bonus every so often, and make sure it's consistent, because even though it's a bonus, they still need it. I'm speaking from experience. Okay, my job has benefited me as a single mom and as a wife. It is a good career, but I've also had to deal with a lot of stress myself. So, with that being said, that's smart that she did a paper trail. She's going to need that, because in dentistry, I am sure there's a lot of people signing up for help because they are stressed out. You're doing 100% at your job if you're one of those good ones out there. And I appreciate you for doing that. Someone's taking notice. But you also have, that takes a lot of energy when you give your all at work. It takes a lot of energy. But then when you got people beating you down on top of that for doing good, which I can relate to, okay? All this is from experience of years, okay? And so take my word for it, doctors. I may not have your degree, but I've had the experience and I know what these girls are talking about. And it's just really sad that this is happening. And it's not just the doctors, it's among the staff members. What happened to the old golden rule? If you have nothing to say good at all, then don't say nothing at all, right? You have to remember that. We're just getting so freely because we're so used to the phone and texting and saying what we want to say and putting it on the screen, but we're starting to say it out there in person. And we have to just take a moment, okay, and reflect on what you're about to say and say it. If you can have constructive criticism, um, they're not teaching people that anymore, where you do something wrong and someone tells you, hey, I wish you would do it kind of like this. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's see here. I have so much to say. Lost and need help. 6 months ago, I started with a general practice. After working in pedo for 5 years, I posted a lot on this page, as I felt I wasn't fitting in. You need to welcome your new staff member. And the lead assistant and the other assistant were basically mean girls. Here we go again with bullying. How old are we? Okay, as far as I remember, you had at least be 18 to get your RDA. I wanted to get out. Wait. I'm somewhere here. Out 3 months, and because of being bullied, but I stayed because I decided to talk with the doctor and his wife about the incidents that were occurring at that time. Since then, I've taken on more responsibilities. I will do pedo prophies to help with the hygiene schedule since they are packed. Okay, so this girl is going above and beyond, and let's give her, some credit for that, that she's working her tail off and dealing with some BS at the office. So we need to back off to those mean girls that might see this. Um, if someone's just trying to do their job, let them just try to do their job. Do their job. If they're doing it wrong, give them some help, guide them, befriend them, teach them. I noticed that there was some positivity, one among all these other ones. But unfortunately, the bad outweighs the good of what I read. But the fact that someone gave someone a card saying that we appreciate you, way to go. That's all it takes. Give them a card, just to thank you. You know, I mean, it don't take long to write a card. And if you're checking out at Kroger's, get yourself some gas points and get a gift card for your staff, okay? And it doesn't have to be for no reason. Just surprise them. We need pick me ups. We need more positive feedback on social media, guys. Um, we care so much for our patients. At least I hope you do. And what you're doing is not just a tooth. You're taking care of a tooth that leads to many other functions, as you know, which makes that patient be able to live and eat and breathe and all that good stuff. Everything's connected. Well, just like with the chain of infection, there is a port of entry. All right. Same goes with um, the bad apple, the mean girls, the just the decay just spreading. Okay, so here you got someone being mean, you know, to the other people, and it's like, okay, So it's going to spread. Well, she's giving me a hard time. I'm going to give her a hard time, or we're going to gossip about this girl, or this girl's going to gossip to one of them. It's got to stop. It's just got to stop. It's getting ridiculous. As a dental instructor, I just have another student sign up, and she looks the part. I hate to say it, but there's a certain way you have to look in the dental field because you're working in people's mouths. She's got that, and the way she's talked and everything so far, I think she's going to be the way she was referred by word of mouth, which is what you want, from a former student of mine. I know she's going to be a good student, excellent student, and she's going to learn a lot. But I don't want her out there being sent to sharks, okay? Now, to be a good leader, okay, let's just take a break from the negativity for a second and let me talk to the doctors, the office managers, the lead assistants, okay? To be a good leader, you must listen, okay? I know it's hard to listen sometimes. Sometimes we have so much to say, but if we all just take a moment and give someone else the chance to speak and listen to what they're saying. Not just be in a rush, doctors, but listen to what your staff is saying. Empathize, okay? Put yourself, we have lost that in today's society, even with your patients when you're doing a treatment plan up. You know, you're going to sell more treatment plans if you have empathize with that patient, with that staff member, with your boss. Let's do that vice versa with the doctor. What is he going through today? What kind of stress does he have in his shoulders? And bring him your stress too, because that is why he gets paid the top dollar. But together we can do more. Together, not separate. Act on it. Okay, if you know something's going on, act on it. Don't just, and I've seen this time and time again, you sweep it underneath the rug. Okay, you just wait for it to go away, or you give that person a hard time until they quit. If you don't like someone, just fire them, pay the unemployment, delegate. Okay, if you got too much work, too much stress, delegate the work. Share the workload. You don't have to be a me, me, me. I'll do it all. I want all the credit. Okay, um, doctors, delegate work and give each person, like children, okay, credits. Give them praise. They need it. If they are happy, you will be happy. There'll be less time for gossip and more time for, okay, let's go above and beyond. Um, engage with your staff, get to know them to a certain degree, okay? You cannot be friends with your staff. You just cannot be friends with your staff because there might come a time where there's going to be issues, okay? If you're able to be friends, because, I'm not right on everything. If you're able to have that relationship and never goes wrong, okay, that's great. Okay, you must have God within you because, you're keeping that peace. You're working through things. Respect. That really should be way up there. But respect your staff, okay? Because there comes to one about, let's see here. Um, being yelled at by the doctor, being accused of messing up right at that very time in front of the patient. Never yell at your staff in front of the patient. That just looks so unprofessional and tacky and everything else in between. And don't even yell at them when you leave the operatory because, one, there's no walls, but besides the point, they're human. People mess up, people make mistakes, and yeah, unfortunately, if it's with the body, that could be a big mistake, but you don't need to yell at them. I'm sure they already feel bad as it is. So calm your jets when you're trying to do something perfect and something screws up. Have my voice in your head. Calm my jets. Calm my jets. Don't go off on this staff member. There could be something going on that you need to get to. Engage with them so you can emphasize with them, and then you can act accordingly to what you need to do, okay? And maybe you have to give them a break and delegate it to someone else. But in the bottom line, you're going to end up respecting them if you start off with listening to why that happened. Okay. And if it's your fault, which I've seen doctors mess up and blame it on the staff, look, own up. Just own up. There's one thing I always did in a dentist's office. I always own up to my mistakes. Because if there was ever a big mistake, I know that the doctor knows I always own up to all the other little mistakes. And I know I worked hard enough that and cared for the patients enough that I know that my job is secure. I think there's more insecure people in this world because that is why people are mean to each other. They're jealous of one another, and there's no reason to be jealous of one another. If one can do a temporary better than the other, that doesn't mean knock them down. Encourage them and train them, okay? And then you guys can get production better. And if production's going well, then the doctor might reach in the pockets, or if you're listening, doctors, you reach in your pockets and you offer some type of compensation for trying to get your production higher. You can't keep it all together. I mean, you can't keep it, all for you. You can't take it with you when you die. You don't know when your time is up. So just do the right thing while you're here on earth. I'm just saying, the truth is the truth. People are talking about praying. People are talking about crying. So let's just get real with it. We need to be more, um, all these. Having trouble holding people accountable, thought feeling as if I'm babysitting them. I am something each staff member to complete certification, causes scheduled patients, overdue for recur, outstanding. The doctor suggests that we have a report and list, and this lady is pretty much upset that um, she leaves the stuff for them and they don't do it. Help out, recall, recare, get those patients in. And no one should have to be a babysitter. Once again, to be an RDA, you have to be at least 18. So we all should be grown. We should not be acting like this. Oh, in one of these. I read something about people are still not sanitizing things good, disinfecting things, sterilizing things properly, including Cavitron tips. Through the autoclave, they just wipe them down. Okay, look, we're living in a day and age. We all need to be reminded to make sure we get all the bioburden off of the instruments, all the plaque, all the blood, just everything. Get it off and sterilize them. I know they're little, I know they're expensive, but you can't just wipe them. Okay, invest because you do not want to get shut down like the doctor on my dental news I did a few months back, where he was reported on the news and everything, and has to pay a huge fine. So please make sure you're not cutting no corners. That's just a friendly reminder. And doctors, make sure you're checking on your staff. Make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Talk to them. Okay, and the last one I'll end with this, okay, because it's enough. There's just more bad than there is good. A lot of mean stuff, let me tell you. I've been fired for cussing out managers and fighting one. Laugh my ale. This is this career isn't worth the stress. Stand up for yourselves. Don't get mistreated, especially for $16 an hour. Fuck that. Trust me, if you're good, you will find an office you'll fit into actually enjoy working for. Um, and 117 people, view that. So look, we've got to clean up what we're saying. This I'm reading off the page so you can hear exactly what's going on. These are people who are taking care of people. Yeah, a lot of stressed out people behind those anesthetics, health histories, um, sterilization, um, oral surgery, nitrous watching people. A lot of stressed out people. So mistakes can happen. So if you are a doctor and you've watched this video, please know that this is to share with you in case you need the constructive criticism and you need to be reminded sometimes that, hey, I haven't been the greatest boss, but I can go ahead and make things better. If you are a staff member and your boss is not treating you well, share this video with them. Say, hey, look what I saw on YouTube, and can you believe this, and they'll watch it, and it, they might think, or don't share it with them and keep on going what you're going through if you have issues. Um, if anything, you can start the chain of infection. You can start it with a different type of portal entry. You can start with positivity each day. When you walk into that office, no matter who's being mean to you, like the mean girls, you know, how they have desperate housewives, they gotta have mean girls in the dentist office, Hey, maybe that's another book. But check out my new book too, Dental Affairs. I've shared true stories and everything, some very painful, raw and real, because I feel we need a change. I love this career so much that I want others to love it as much as I do. And hopefully, one small voice will make a change. But help me by sharing this video and liking it. It will definitely help them get it out there with the algorithms. Also, if you're thinking about trying to make extra money, check out my YouTube channel. I have ways to help relieve that stress and how to make extra money for your practice. Or if you're a staff member, you're capable of doing this on your own without the doctor. So please check it out. I wish it was things that someone has taught me years ago, but I learned it later in life. So I'm sharing it with you because I want to leave a good impact in this field. Um, so going back to it, start your day off right. It's a blank canvas. Enjoy your new creation of your day. And if you get a smudge on it, take back your joy. Um, don't let have no one have control over you. And doctors, if you're being bullied by your staff, which some have been bullied, because if a bunch of women are together and they're mad and they're your whole staff. I've actually been at a practice where the whole staff has walked out on a doctor, and the poor doctor was Teresa, but he wasn't treating nobody right. And it was in an Amish community. So um, it was just, looking back, I felt bad for the guy, because then here he is with all these patients and stressed out and even more stressed out, So how did he treat the next staff when I was young then and didn't know? Maybe just verbally telling him, hey, you're doing this wrong, you're treating us wrong, we're all about to walk out. Maybe if you just verbally tell your boss you're about to walk out, well, if he tells you to go, then you don't want to be there. When one door closes, another one will open. Um, and you'll feel a lot better without not having that stress. So start your day off new, take back your joy. Don't let have no one have control over you, whether you're the doctor or the staff. All right, guys, this is Dental Assistant Tutor. I burned your ear long enough with all this stuff. Um, I did share stuff from social media, and I have blocked out the names and where I got it from just for the privacy of these people. They're sharing it on social media, so it is public, um, because they have to vent. But we need to keep on venting, and so therefore I've shared it to get the word out there. So please keep sharing these videos so we can make a change together, in dentistry. And don't forget, minimum wage is going up to $15 an hour. If you're new, starting off in the field, don't ask for less than $15 an hour. You deserve that. You went to school for it. Don't ask for less than 15. I'm telling you. So, and if you're in the field for a while, there was another one where somebody was working there 22 years, and the person that came in is making the same amount but $1 difference than the person that's 22 years. Okay, your staff has been loyal for you for 22 years. Increase their wage if the new person's coming in making good money. I mean, you guys, we can't talk about wages, but should we be? We have, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, doctors talk about their fees and stuff like that. With insurance companies, we need to know what's going on.
You don't need a staff member coming in there. I'm still going on with this. You don't need a staff member coming in there struggling to try to make it and working their tail off for you. That's added stress, especially on top of someone being mean to them at your practice. Okay, let's regroup. Let's regroup. Been saying it, gonna keep saying it. I want to see a change. Bye, everybody. Ask for a raise if you're not making enough.